Studying in Denmark, what's it like?
My name is Vanessa. I was born in Zimbabwe, raised in South Africa, but my parents are from Belgium. I'm a master's student here doing journalism. I'd like to become an investigative journalist or a war correspondent. Denmark, it's kind of a place in South Africa that little people know about. So when I told my friends I was going to Denmark, the first question was why and how and what do you know from it already? And the only thing most of them knew is the amazing mythology of Thor and Hamlet that we've read in Shakespeare books. I was expecting it to be much colder, and it's not even as cold as before this. I was in Germany. Germany was a tad colder than this. I expected the people to be really tall and blonde, which they weren't. And I expected it to be maybe as friendly as South Africa, which it wasn't at first. For example, you ask people their age, but they will never ask it back. Or you ask people about their children and they won't ask about your family. People tend to be quite reserved. Firstly, I had to get a whole new wardrobe of warm clothes because the minimum temperature in South Africa is 15 in winter. And here it got up to minus 15. So stuck up on the blankets, on the pillows. Live constantly with a heater, which I'm not used to. Well, I think you've got to also know the language. That's something I think you find in all countries. South Africa is an exception where we speak 11 different languages, depending on which area you're from. I try to speak 3 at least, and that really helps. And if you don't know the language and you carry on speaking to them in English, they kind of take you as a foreigner and they won't warm up to you. I find that Danes are really, really friendly when they're drunk. And what I love about Aarhus is that we have like 3 quiz nights a week. So being with Danes after a quiz night is awesome. Like they'll all start singing karaoke with you and being really super friendly. Something that you'd be on the sober level in South Africa with. Well, the teaching style in Denmark is pretty much the same as in the lecturers kind of present something and then they ask the class a lot of their own questions and things like that. But in South Africa, we actually took turns in the class to present. So we had to do the readings and then present them in class to our classmates. Trying to find really hard to get used to is the grading system. It's a point out of 12. In South Africa, it's a percentage or a symbol. And here, to see a 4 is quite bad, it's a D. To see a 7 is okay, it's a C. To see a 10 is a B. To see a 12 is pretty amazing, it's an A. And it's really hard to get a 10 or a 12. Whereas in South Africa, to get an A, you just have to work to answer the question. Here, you actually have to use your own mythology to come up with your own ideas. Yeah, I would say try to bring as much as you can from your own culture and develop it with other people's culture.